Couple of extra things that you might want to do in your class and learning is create a poll or post an announcement. And I'm going to show you how to do both of those. So when you go up to the top of your page, you click on Add Content Block. And poll is here. And it's kind of neat, and it's a neat way to ask a question and to allow students to answer and see each other's feedback. So I'd click on polls here. We're going to give it a block title, and this is just for the block's benefit. You can even hide the title. And we'll say states we live in. I'm going to hide the title so you can see that. And here's the question. Which state do you live in? And this might be one that I would post at the very beginning to kind of introduce the students to each other and get them familiar with some of the formatting that we'll be doing in learning and what their class is like. So I can add as many choices as I like. I'm just going to pick a few. Michigan, Virginia, and Ohio. I'm going to say who can vote. You're going to just want to choose students because parents don't have their own separate account set up in here. And you can allow them to select multiple choices. You can allow them to add other and type their own answer. This is probably something that you don't want to do so the teacher can't see who voted what. I think it's kind of nice to be able to see who put their vote in and what they voted. And here's where you set up how long it displays for. They can see the voting display after they vote. And then here's where you would ask that user to respond during pop-up. So I'm going to click publish and I'll show you what it looks like. So let's say that you're a student here. And this is what it looks like. Now, when you vote on that, and I can't vote obviously because I'm a teacher in this class, and the students are going to see it from a different view. But when I vote on that, after I'm done, I'll get a pie graph displayed, and I can see the results of everybody else's vote too. So that's kind of cool. The second thing that I'm going to show you is how to post an announcement. And an announcement is something that will come up as soon as your students log in. So it's kind of nice to be able to do if, like let's say your daughter broke her leg and you have to cancel class and you want to make sure that this is something people see right away when they first log in. Again, you can create the content block and you can hide that title if you want to. And here is where you will add the announcement. And I'll just say class is rescheduled. Now what I would want to do if I was actually rescheduling class is I would want to put why without giving too much over information. And I would also want to put when the class is rescheduled to. I'm going to have this display always on top. And I can put when I want that displayed until. So I'm going to actually say it's going to be displayed until this date, and I can click Save. Now, that means that whenever somebody logs into this class, it's going to pop up as an announcement, and they'll be able to see that announcement. So it's a nice way to get people's attention. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is how to post a discussion question. And these are really nice. You can have people post discussions, post answers to the discussion. You can link it to your gradebook. So you can set it up based on the subject that you're teaching. So let's say you're teaching about Jane Eyre. And here's where I could put a description of the discussion. Here's where I could decide if I just wanted a student to reply to me, or a student to participate together, or the entire class. I'm going to pick the entire class. I am saying here where people can write posts to the discussion. Sometimes you might want to require the students to post first before seeing other people's posts. And then here's where you can decide, is it a fun discussion where you're talking about, what you want for your birthday dinner, or is it something that is related to your class? And since this is about Jane Eyre, I'm going to also say save in Power Teacher. And then the total points. So I'm going to click save. And this is what it would look like on the page. So the kids would click on this. You would have a specific question that you want to ask that people are kind of weighing in on and discussing. Now, I just want to say one thing about discussions is if you're going to post a discussion, you really need to make sure you're monitoring that discussion as a teacher. So for example, you wouldn't want to say, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then forget and never go back and check to see what people are posting, because sometimes things can get out of hand. You also will probably want to say on your main page, you know, just what your expectations are for discussions. We're going to be kind, we're going to be uplifting. If anything gets out of hand, you'll be banned from the discussion, and your parents will be contacting, or we will be contacting your parents. You just want to make sure that those expectations are clear right from the very beginning, and then you actually do want to monitor that discussion. You don't want to forget about it. So you can post it for a few days, you can post it for a week, but it's a nice way for students to connect. The other thing that I would want to say is that you'll likely want to tell your students not to post personal information, addresses, email addresses, phone numbers to other people in the group unless they have their parents' permission, because that's something that students immediately want to do, especially if it's a fun discussion post where they're just sharing things about themselves. But they need to have their parents' permission first. So that is discussions, announcements, and polls.